Hey y'all, I'm going to videotape this, but a little concerned. Oh, good gravy. Your Best has been working on getting this shed part of the little building loose from the little barn. And his plan is to pull that down and hopefully be able to keep the tin that's on it usable. Now I gotta tell you, none of this makes me happy. But I also gotta tell you that is one stubborn man, and when he gets his mind set on something, that's what's gonna happen. So he has been thinking this over for several days. He's given it a lot of thought, and he is very brilliant when it comes to the engineering parts of things of this nature. And I'm kind of a worrywart when it comes to doing something that could potentially, well, this isn't potentially dangerous. This is dangerous. So I will give you this heads up. If anything happens that causes a medical incident where he has to go to the hospital, this won't be online. So you know that if it's online, it has a decent ending. So I think that John, he's on the phone with someone, so I think that John is going to come help him. So I guess this is the prequel, y'all. This is the prequel. So I'm just giving you a little hint of things to come. I'm hearing that maybe it might be in the morning. So, all right. Well, I guess I got ahead of myself. But I am very glad that he's going to have some help with this little project. It makes me happy. Papa! Huh? Come here. I'll make him come over and tell you what his plan is. We need to know what you're planning. Huh? We need to know what your plan is, how you plan to manage this.
I don't have hearing aids in.
Okay. I said we need to know what the plan is, because I've been telling them this could be dangerous.
We're going to take that back on, we're going to jerk it off of there.
We're going to jerk what off?
The shed.
Well, the whole shed, yeah, but you've already got it snipped loose?
No.
Okay.
John's coming. I just got the equipment in place. He said, well, let's go ahead and do it. So he'll be down here in a minute.
Okay, so it is going to happen today.
Hopefully.
All right. Well, y'all, this might be a really long video. I don't know. But I'm glad that he's going to have some help, because these kinds of things make me nervous. Absolutely. He's got to find another battery. Some of you all that follow my videos will be glad to see that I did finally get all the rugs power washed today. And they're drying. So some of them will be going on the porch to hopefully cut down on the dirty porch floor. Some of them will be going in the house at the back door and on the inside of this door to help keep some of the dirt out of the house. The dirt's not the big thing in my house, because there's so much dog hair that the dog hair has to be vacuumed up daily. Good gravy. I love my critters, but they are a mess. All right. So if y'all are willing to wait with me, we'll see how long. I'm going to sit down. We'll see how long it is before John gets here. If it's too long, I'll just cut this video short and I'll come back to it. You can see here he's been burning a pile of stuff. It's just cut-offs and branches and things that we're allowed to burn here. But anyway, yeah. We worked in the basement quite a bit yesterday, and that made me happy. That's coming along nicely. We have at least floor space down there now, and Huey stood the little freezer, the little chest type freezer, up on its end because I'm going to YouTube University, and I am going to figure out how to turn that piece of that shell of a freezer into a dehydrator. So that makes me happy. I know that I've seen videos on it before, but never really paid a whole lot of attention. And with the amount of vegetables that we grow, I think that will serve a wonderful purpose. We can just dehydrate quite a few things at a time instead of just the few little blips of things that you can in the smaller dehydrators. And we have apple trees across the road at Chelsea's. They didn't do so well this year. And let me see, we'll have a peach tree, and I think there's also a plum tree over there. We've never had any fruit off of it. We've planted it in the last few years, so we'll have to wait and see if it decides to produce. But I have the elderberries across the road at Chelsea's, and I'm hoping to start planting quite a few blueberries. So there's all kinds of fruits that we want to grow as well. And just the best way to, did you see the bluebird? The best way for me, I don't like putting things like that in the freezer. Peppers. When I put peppers in the freezer, it seems like within 6 months that they have freezer burned. I don't know if any of y'all have that problem. And I do have the little baggie, the suction thing, but those have never worked uber well for me. They still seem to pick up a freezer burned taste. And there's our buddy John. He's here to help, yay. But so I'm hoping that just dehydrating everything will help to extend the life of these fruits and vegetables. I would love to eventually have a freeze dry machine, but I don't know if y'all have ever they're pricey for one thing, but they also hold just so little. The racks in them are really narrow and they're long, but they don't hold a whole lot. So I think that for right now anyway, the freeze dry might come along much later. Chelsea wants to get a freeze dry machine for her mushrooms. So there's FedEx. I bet they're bringing some of my Sam's Club. I do. I order from Sam's Club because I have free shipping with them. And I get the necessary things from Sam's Club, you know, toilet paper because it's so much less expensive. Our dog and cat food, I've just started doing that again. Dishwasher, detergent, laundry soap, all of that's much, much less expensive at Sam's Club. And since there's free delivery, and Sam's Club for us is, you know, a 45-minute drive. So I'm sure our delivery people are not real happy when they have to bring dog food. I'm going to have to give them a really good tip at Christmas time. Bless. All right, let's see what these fellas are going to do. Thank you. Bless. All right, let's see what they're figuring out. I would love, and I've been looking into, making my own dog food and cat food. Y'all, I just can't find a way yet that's affordable. When you have 5 dogs, 5 large dogs, because the smallest one weighs about 65 pounds, and then our largest one weighs about 90. So feeding that size dogs a homemade diet is just a little over the top. And we use dry dog food, but we pour either a tuna fish broth over it, or I saved all of the organ meats, the livers and the tongue and all that sort of thing from when we had our last cow. I don't even know what to call it. I hate to call it butchered. That just hurts my heart. But you know what? It's butchered. But anyway, I cook those pieces of meat, and then I blend them, and with the juice that they were cooked in, and I put those in freezer baggies, and so that's a little bit of extra nutrition. We also give them eggs, because we have all of these farm-raised eggs, so we do give them about 3 to 6 eggs a day, not each, that's the total. So they get some extra nutrition, and in their water, I also give them powdered vitamins, apple cider vinegar, and some iodine, liquid iodine. So I feel like we're trying to make what they eat and drink as nutritious as possible. But dog food just absolutely hurts my heart. Let's wave at him. Bless. But if any of y'all have any wonderful recipes that are affordable and nutritious, let me know. I would appreciate that. Okay, so they're figuring this out up here. I should have brought my little stand to put this phone on. I didn't think about it taking this long. I was on the front porch working. Saw Hugh heading up here with with the machine. I thought, uh-oh, I guess it's time. Here we go. So I just grabbed the phone and came. I don't know where he's going. He's got, Chelsea and I, for our business, purchased a little bitty chainsaw, battery-powered chainsaw, and he's decided he likes that. It's nice and light, so he's been using it for some of the projects where he has to reach over his head. Oh, yeah, I told y'all that he had to have an MRI this past week. We got a phone call from our doctor yesterday, and he doesn't have a torn meniscus in his knees or anything that can actually be surgically repaired. Our doctor said he has severe arthritis in both knees. So she is sending him to an osteo doctor to see if there's maybe shots that they can put in his knees or something that they can, just give him some relief. Bless his heart, ornery man. But I hate it for him. Just, his life has been non-stop heavy work his entire life from the time he was a little kid. I mean, they grew tobacco, and they grew hay for their cattle and raised cattle. This farm at one point, with the property that was back on what they called the mountain place, was about 300 acres. And that's fairly good size farm here in, you know, the mountains of North Carolina. And his daddy at one point, I think they had about 187. The most cattle they ever had was about 187 head. And it's just a lot of work there. Plus, Hugh's daddy also worked at Daco in Waynesville, and he was a musician, world-class musician. And so they're just always extraordinarily busy. And Hugh, when he got out of high school, he went to AB Tech and took the diesel mechanic program. And then he worked for 43 years as a heavy equipment mechanic, and then had his stroke in 2020. So he had to retire. He wasn't given a choice. But physically, his body has been through a lot. And unfortunately, the stroke did enough damage that he's fine intellectually. He remembers things. It's not that at all. It's just that every now and then his mind will kind of take a step sideways and he might do something a little bit dangerous. That's why when he does things like this, y'all, that I like to have somebody else on hand to kind of help him make careful decisions. And y'all remember a couple of years ago when he turned his tractor over on top of himself? Yeah, that happened, and he told me, he said, I would never have done something like that before. But he was pulling a holly tree, and he cinched it up too closely to the back of the tractor, and he basically knew not to do that. It's just he had a little glitch. And then when he was pulling it uphill, the holly tree was sufficiently large enough. I mean, it was a big holly tree. The stump was probably about 18 inches through the middle. It was short and stocky, but it flipped him over backward. Thankfully, where it flipped him over, there was a divot. There was a kind of hole in the ground, so that he landed in the hole and the tractor didn't crush him. But I tell you, sometimes these types of things are unnerving. So I'm very glad to have neighbors like John and Sean that come, and Aaron, when he's really needed, he will come over and help us when we let him know. Hugh's often, well, he'll usually just ask someone that's local, Sean or John, instead of having Aaron drive an hour and a half over here. But Aaron's always willing to come when we need him to come help. So we have plenty of help. It still doesn't keep me from worrying. Huey always says, don't borrow trouble. Don't borrow trouble. But I don't know. I think any of you that are mamas and wives or husbands, if your wife, has a job that's a little bit concerning, any of us that have to worry about someone else and their safety, it's just easier to say don't borrow trouble than to actually not borrow trouble. But anyway, he said that the logs, this barn is old. I mean, it's old. I can't even tell. It's 100 and some odd years old. But this shanty-looking end piece that they're getting ready to pull off, I don't know how many. It's 50, 60, 70 years old, something like that. And it was hung it was built just to hang tobacco, and you can see the little logs across the expanse in there. That was just to hang tobacco in. So it wasn't built, to be pretty or it was just functional. But it in its own way adds a little bit of character to that little barn. It will look funny just kind of standing up here without its little little shed attached to the side. But okay, so they're going to pull down some fencing. I should have brought a chair over here, y'all. Sitting on this cold, hard ground is not comfortable. Let's walk over. I think I'll go get a lawn chair. Get my shoes on. I'm running around in sandals today and my little flip-flops because it is nice and warm. I carried a bunch of buckets out of the basement to wash. They've got to go back in, but that's all part of the process. We got so much moved around yesterday, and I emptied my empty canning jars and my canning jars that we've canned the last couple of years. Just put them in boxes, and I have a great big canning shelf downstairs. It's built really, really heavy, but it's kind of an overbuild situation. But I brought it, or we're going to move it just directly over, straight over. Look at my Sam's Club delivery, y'all. It's kind of sad. Bless his heart. All right, here's me a chair. But we're going to just move it directly away from the wall where it's at. I'll take y'all downstairs and show you in the next day or so. And then we'll build the wall behind it. I'll be able to put all my canning stuff back on that same shelf. I was going to just have Hugh cut it apart and get rid of it. But if you go, you know, it served the same purpose for probably 50 years. No point in getting rid of something that will just have to be replaced with something else. It's a little inconvenient in spots, but that's all right. And then I've got to build some shelves underneath the stairs, the basement stairs, so that there's boxes of things down there that we use for soil blocking. That I want to keep all of that together in that spot. And there's things down there that need to come outside to the little metal building. Alright. Let's set it as flat as we can. I don't want to turn over backward. Oh, that's much better. So it's kind of like just moving things in circles. But you have to... I did. I went and got me a chair. That ground was cold and hard. But it was so dusty down there yesterday. I'm having a little bit of problem breathing today. Got my allergies all worked up. But it will be nice when it's finished down there. We'll have the cool room, eventually a cool bot that will keep it really cold for the future. I mean, it's not necessary right now. The air conditioning will cool for the types of flowers we're growing. But eventually when we start raising peonies, or growing peonies, that will be an important feature. If we decide to, year after next, if we decide to grow, what are they called? The spring flower tulips. But we'll have to have an extra cool room for those. So the cool bot will be a necessary expense within the next couple of years when we start. Of course, the peonies will be 5 years actually before we'll have any to sell. But the tulips, if we're going to grow those, we'll get those in the ground next fall, and they'll come up and be ready in the spring of that following year. But the grow room's going to be nice and big, and outside of the grow room will be the shelving for all of my canning supplies, and I am making one little area for as a tool room, just because we need one location in our house where all the small tools are kept. Hugh and Chelsea and I all use them, and we each will lay them down, you know, in the laundry room on the shelf, or they'll go downstairs in Hugh's area on the shelf, or, you know, it's one of those things where nobody can find anything. So we need to have a common area where everything is stored, so that when we need a tool, we know that it will be in that location. Things like that make me happy. I like to be able to find stuff. And there's nothing worse as far as a project than trying to work on a project that you can't find what you need. It almost makes you just want to forget the project. Just never mind. But the people that live in that little house right there must be having a party. It sounds lively up there. But some of these houses, that one up there, that one is the one that I told y'all I call Close Encounters of the Third Kind. They're only here every now and then on a weekend. So I don't know where they live, but they have a really sensitive alarm system. And if the electricity blinks, and our electricity blinks pretty regularly because we're with Haywood EMC, and when it blinks, their system goes off. When the wind blows, their system goes off. I mean, it goes off, I think, if a butterfly touches their house. Oh, gracious. But, oh well. I think people maybe that live in town have a real reason to feel like they want to be protected and have their property protected, and so that's fine. I just wish that it was less sensitive than it is, and I wish that their security system would shut off more quickly, because sometimes it will run for about 15 minutes, and that gets the dogs all riled up, and you know, I don't like to hear it if I'm outside, but that's just me fussing. Oh well. Cut a little of it to be on the safe side. That doesn't sound promising. I don't know, y'all. They're still discussing the how-tos. He said something about lifting John up in there, but waiting until something so he won't be stranded. That doesn't sound promising. I tell y'all. I do not know about this. He's telling John that our potatoes already planted for for next year because there's 2 rows he didn't dig. I'd forgotten about that. Uh-oh. Now, this I don't like. Good gravy. Y'all. John's like a squirrel. I mean, he can go places that a lot of guys half his age wouldn't dare. But he is 77 years old, y'all. Alright. He's hooking a chain to one of those posts. It's attached to the bucket. Yeah, we don't want to leave him stranded there. I hope that little shed isn't so strictly attached. I think Hugh had cut it loose or was going to cut it loose from the little barn. I would hate to lose that little barn. Right now it's filled with red oak boards. John's coming down the track hoe itself. Good gravy. I sure hope that I have that much ability when I'm 77. That's just crazy. I'll have to, his wife Jenny, she's a sweetheart. She's a good friend of mine. I'm gonna have to ask her what types of food they eat. Do they take supplements? I think I need to be on their diet. He's using that little extension saw, trying to cut it loose. He says it's like trying to use a noodle, so it must not be cutting real well. I need to go up there and join their party. They sound like they're having a blast. Be less worrisome than this, wouldn't it? Thought those vines might be stronger than those old boards. Look at that Carolina blue sky, y'all. That's gorgeous. It's beautiful weather again. I think it's probably about 60, maybe 65 degrees. It's supposed to drop down in the 20s this next week.
It's cutting too, it's just it's got my bar bent. Get some of this weight off of it.
I don't know what happened up there. That's pretty funny. But they had a big oh no moment. Whatever that was for. Oh, gracious. Look how brown the mountains are. We've lost our color. There's just a spot or two left. A little bit of red left on the maples. Brown left on the maples. I think they're beautiful still. Yeah. The other day I was noticing the Black Friday commercials on television, and I thought, I think I've told y'all this. I thought, why in the world are they talking about Black Friday? And it occurred to me that at that point we were already like a week and a half into November. I thought, that's an impossibility. How did this happen? Just somebody tell me how this happened. The year has gone so quickly. Lots and lots and lots of things we've gotten done, but so much more that we still have to do. But that's good. Chelsea's been playing with the epoxy and the dried flowers and making beautiful little dried flower ornaments or sky catchers. Not sky, sun catchers. But if you have Facebook and you want to go to the Phoenix Acres Farm Facebook site, she has posted some photographs on there. They're really pretty. And she's like me, she enjoys crafting. So right now with her neck giving her problems till she has something taken care of with it, that gives her something to work on. She does some leather tooling, so she's doing that. She has to be careful. It's just a matter of, you can't look down when you have a neck issue going on. You can't look down for long periods of time. So okay, so John's gonna back the big machine up. I think maybe to see where it might pull a little bit, give an idea of what still needs to cut loose. No, I don't think most of the way through will be good enough. I think you need to cut those things all the way through. I should have told Aaron that his dad, well, I didn't know for sure he was going to do this today, but if I had told Aaron that he was going to do this today, he would have wanted to have been over here. He loves this old barn, and he would love to have been here to help his daddy with this project. But Hugh, sometimes you don't know what he's getting ready to do until he's actually doing it. I think he's as ADD as the rest of us. Pretty certain. And since his stroke, it's like he gets something on his mind and he can't refocus until that thing is done. So I think that is part of his injury. And today I think he just got this on his mind. I think what they're going to do is just clip the bottom of those poles holding the building up. Y'all, I guess here we go. Hot dog. It's almost like they planned it that way. Stinky little boys. Stinky little boys. Alright, now I can breathe. I guess I'll post this one because I sure as you know what wasn't going to if somebody had gotten hurt. So, all right, y'all. Well, this video's over 50 minutes. I hope y'all made it all the way through. But I'll keep y'all up to date as it gets cleaned up. But now that it's on the ground, yay. 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 All right, y'all. Love you much. Bye-bye.